Com. Okay, yes, indeed. Good morning and good afternoon, wherever you are listening from. Welcome back once again to the Rudeboy Show on FunkNationRadio.com. It is 11 a.m. on the eastern side of Pennsylvania. I get out in Eastern. Yes, that's where I'm from. That's where I'm broadcasting from. In the good old US of A, the FunkNationRadio.com and the Rude Boy Show. And we're about to get into the business at hand, which is speaking to our special guest this morning. Our special guest is coming live to you out of the African continent, out of South Africa. And I want to welcome once again to the broadcast Mr. Muvhango Conscience, and I'm going to allow him to once again introduce himself to you. Muvhango, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here, boy. I'm here, boy. It's good to hear, the Funk Nation Radio, and finally have my voice on the Funk Nation Radio. I've had a long relationship with the station, but yeah, I've had even some of my mixes play on the station, but I've never had my voice, to actually have a conversation with one DJ at the station. So I really appreciate this time to have a conversation with a DJ in the Funk Nation Radio. And yeah, thanks for having me. I'd like to thank your listeners from wherever they might be listening to the show from. I go by the name Muvhango, Ndou. ConsciousX is my AKA. I come from South Africa in Joburg, in a township called Katlehong. That's in the East Rand. That's in the East Rand, yeah.
And
So,
and
in the art, I've been
yes,
someone that's been involved in the arts, for quite a long time, ever since my high school days when I got introduced to this culture called hip hop, and then in a club that's in Joburg, in downtown Joburg in town, and then after that I learned quite other genres because there would be a reggae session after, and then a reggae session, So I got introduced to quite a lot of other cultures within the music genres. So I grew up in a musical family. Some of my brothers, introduced me to some records of, Kwaito records. My sisters introduced me to some R&B records. So I'm a very musical person, and which is why when I grew up, I did a course called Digital Music Composition and Production. I studied that to produce digitally. And then I actually wanted to also do the music business, which made me attend a lot of musical conferences, so that I could actually learn about the music business. And it actually connected me with quite a number of artists, big and small, upcoming and developed, all those kind of things. Yeah. So I'm also an artist developer, a publisher, an activist, an entrepreneur, an artist manager. You can name these things. I've done quite a number of them. A&R also. I'm speaking too much. I'm speaking too
no,
much.
that's
Yes,
okay.
yes,
That's okay.
ladies.
We want to
Yeah,
hear what's coming out of the man and what's coming out of Africa, because I know that you have been a great source to me. But we'll just dissect the many angles that you throw at us, and we'll take it from there in bits and pieces. So I will allow you to give your story and tell your story like no one else can. So that is important. But let me say this up front. On behalf of the Rude Boy Show and FunkNationRadio.com, thank you to Roberto Gooden, aka Dirty Fingers, for one, connecting me, and for two, allowing us to be on his platform to be able to give and share information, and to the entire function sound, the entire ownership of the station that allow each and every one to show their talent. Now, as far as you and I communication are concerned, I know that you have sent a few artists my way, and I'm going to just tap into one area that you have expressed yourself in, and that is talent, finding talent to bring to the fore. What are some of the names that we might not know that you're associated with, that you have brought to the fore, and how do you go about finding those talents?
Yeah, as an arts administrator under an organization called the South African Association of Arts Administrators, artists come here, some even from abroad, some locally. You see, we actually sometimes organize events for them, and then we do administration for those
Hmm.
events. And then when you get closer to the artist, you find that the artist, he might have a team, or they might have a team, running them, but there's something, one or two, three that you could help them with. Maybe you see like digital marketing, or let's say drafting a profile for them, uploading their music on digital spaces, with those kind of things. I sometimes get closer to artists while doing those, helping them with those kind of things, maybe. And then you get closer to them, you find that I also have quite a network like yourself as the Function Radio, with people like Taj Weeks, maybe, for example. He was organizing a tour that was going to involve South Africa, and then when he got to South Africa, he landed at the team that I work with, and then that's how I got introduced to him. Then I was supposed to promote that show, hands across Africa, in South Africa, and even across Africa. And I also tapped outside. I also tapped outside the continent, and I connected him with people like you, and then with other people in Canada that I know, a lady by the name of Edine Hope, who hosts a show about indie artists. I also introduced him with people like that. And then I gave him, maybe I linked him. They say once you have a friend, maybe for example on Facebook, their friends, they also become your friends, or their market also becomes your market. Same as when you collaborate with an artist, their market becomes your market becomes their market.
Yeah.
So I actually connect with these artists in that way. So right now, a colleague of mine in the South African Association of Arts Administrators is doing a program called 54 Mamas in Africa, which is going to have maybe a lady representing their respective country. They're also an artist, so it's going to have Afrobeats, reggae, all kind of sounds that are here in Africa. Then the campaign is about gender-based violence against women in the music industry,
Okay.
and then that, and
So,
then
so
I
that so
met
that is
this
your
lady.
so so that is I don't mean to cut you, but that is your niche, or one function of what you do, as identifying talent, you said, and also being able to connect them, guide them through the from the stages of producing, or linking them with producers, and up through the radio station. That's what I'm getting, and that's what I'm hearing. You could give me a short answer for that, and what we'll do, we'll move on and we'll take another subject, because I know that you're a man of many caps. So in terms of promoting or taking an artist, say a guy who does something like me, I don't know much about, how do I get to the radio station, how do I do this, how do I do that, in one word, or a couple words, that's what you would do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's also one of the caps that I wear.
Okay.
You get someone, they have their music,
Okay.
they don't know where to take it. Yeah.
And that is where you're coming. As far as I'm going to jump all over the place with this, and as far as artists that we might not have known or know about, like for example, I throw one or two pre show, Lucky Dube, artists that are coming out of South Africa and Ghana as well. I thank you so much for linking me with these artists, and you, I won't drop the names, you can drop the names, that's your job. You can name drop as much as you want here for me, just to solidify that these artists are going to be here, and I'm going to play their music on this radio station at some point. We're going to do that, and we're going to have those artists come on air and explain. But
Absolutely. So
a guy like Lucky Dube, tell me something. What is it about Lucky Dube that captivate people, and how his music was so captivating in South Africa?
Lucky Dube, he's one of a revolutionary. He spoke out, and he also told the world what what we were going through in the country, and then about slavery and all those kind of things, and about government, building more prisons instead of building more schools. What were they meaning? They meant that you were supposed to get arrested and have negative lives. He spoke. Some of the things you can say that he even prophesied them. So yeah, in a way, because we all facing those things now, and then he told them, and he's no more, and then he's left. But and then after going to perform and telling the world what was happening in South Africa, and then when they got the attention that they wanted, and then they got their freedom, they forgot about Lucky Dube, and then they never celebrated them. They said they never celebrated him anymore. He's more celebrated outside.
Wow,
than
wow.
he's celebrated in the country.
Yeah,
He
I
was more,
remember. I remember coming
torn.
across. I remember coming across his songs, and I was like, man, this brother is deep. He was using the music as a means of freedom. What we're gonna do is that we're going to put a pause right here. We're gonna come back and just discuss Lucky Dube, his participation, and then people who have benefited from his from his dynamic personality and group and all the stuff. Just to put it, yeah. Yes, so we'll take that on the other side of this music or this song, and we'll just discuss Lucky Dube and move as we move into the program. Like I tell you, I know that you have a lot and to give, and we're going to take it in bits and pieces, and hopefully you can be a staple here where I will get everything coming out of the African continent. We'll touch apartheid. We're not going to let that slide. If I talk to somebody from South Africa, I would be remiss if I don't touch apartheid. FunkNationRadio.com, the Rudeboy Show. We'll be back right after this music, right after this song. It is called Ragamuffin by Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaac. Chance. Are you still there with me, sir?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All right.
Mr. X, yeah, simplicity. And the X is for the unknown.
Simplicity
The X is for the unknown.
simplicity is
Yeah.
best. Simplistic is best. But before we leave, I just want you to, you gave me some information, and it was, nugget, because, there's some reverence to what Lucky Dube did during his time, and unfortunately, if you want to tell that story out, I would love you to tell the unfortunate thing that happened to him, how he it was just a man that before his time used what he had in terms of the music, but his life was cut short through violence, the same thing that he preached against. You want to expand on that a little for me?
Yeah, they say the very same violence that took him, is still escalating, you see, in the country. There are very, horrible killings of men and women and children. You don't know. It has become a jungle. But then we must stand and, try to cap all that thing. But it's not only happening here in Africa only. I see even in your country there in America, there has been some shootings and killings at some states there. But yeah, the whole world has gone, wild. With people with Lucky Dube's lives, his life, being shortened, he could have developed, even more artists, you see. But now at least, he left his daughter, Nkuli Dube, who's still touring, the world, same way that he used to do. And then I'm working closely with his former backing vocalists, ladies by the name of Rogata, who are in line to come to the show. Maybe you might have a conversation with them. And Pumi Maduna also, she also worked closely with him, and then they can tell a better story about him, because they taught the world with the man. You see, I was a bit still younger then. I listened to the man in a radio, maybe with my father on our way back from his business. And then yeah, I got to know who Lucky Dube was in the songs that and then my father, was a person that liked academics and education. So
Right.
he would rephrase the song that when Lucky Dube says that education is the key, crime does not pay. See, so he would phrase, that line that, hey, my boy, you see, you
Sound
must go.
sound sound to, sound to me like a Peter Tosh and a Bob Marley, Peter Tosh and a Bob Marley rendition of the struggles and what goes on in our society. And just to touch on the artists that are coming up behind him, I know that for female artists, I know you hooked me into to Fume, and you also say they're the group. I forgot their name right now. I think it begins with Toga.
Togata,
Yes,
Togata, Togata.
Togata. Okay,
Yes.
and they are also
They also
carried on his legacy.
they also carrying on his legacy. Yes, sir. And
Okay.
then there's also people like the Dr. Colbert Mukwebo, from Limpopo. He's also a great man. That man. I think he's performed in Jamaica in one of Bob Marley festivals. Even Mama Rita, I think, knows the man. The man is also on another level. Man called Colbert Mukwebo.
Yeah. So as I promised to you, and I'm going to make an open request that you continue from where your eyes and ears are and what you do, the talent that you do find, and where you bring and continue to send some of that my way, and you yourself continue to support and contribute to my show whenever you can. I will certainly appreciate it. So that's an open invitation to you. You have my number, you have everything my hooked, and you can always find me when you want me, and I'll appreciate you continue to support and send the artists my way. Out of that, thanks to you, I've developed this area this time on the show wherein I will definitely highlight the African continent and other areas to which you have pointed me to. So one of the other things that is, I know I can't not ask it. What was it like in terms of apartheid? Are you old enough? How does that affect you? What does it look like? What was it then? What is it now? How did apartheid affect you personally and your family, or your parents, in terms of what we read, because we get the news and we get varying different news. So from a man that live in the country, what is it like? What are we talking about when we talk about apartheid and South Africa?
Oppression has always been oppression, and one wanted to be superior than the other. And then, but I was still younger. I never actually noticed what was happening. You could not read, but when you go to a museum now that you can read, you see that there were some benches that were written whites only, and others were written blacks only,
Mm-hmm.
and same thing happened in toilets.
Mm-hmm.
Others used theirs, others used theirs. So you get the sense that, yes, and this was really a terrible thing. Although I was younger, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I got to experience prior, democracy, when it was black on black violence.
Mm-hmm.
When we had another organization coming to interrogate the township, because the township had people that were in another organization, so now they had to kill, and now they were being influenced
Mm-hmm.
and being given weapons by the oppressors, so that to cause confusion,
Mm-hmm.
you see.
There,
So
there's there,
some of these
everywhere on this planet Earth that you have the lack of jobs, oppression, the lack of education, no justice, you are going to have a sense of that it is inevitable that those people are going to turn to crime. and it is no different than anywhere else in the world. Unfortunately, that is part of the signs, and the signs that this is going to happen, and it does happen when the youth and everyone else who is not fortunate cannot find jobs, are uneducated. You're going to find that in the society. So it is not, so in terms of South Africa, we I was looking at it from the standpoint of, when you talk about modern day slavery, we often reference South Africa as being an oppressed nation, as opposed to when there was slavery, and not that part of part of apartheid is also slavery. It has all the trimmings of what
Slavery
slavery looks
in
like. And
modern.
we dress it up, and we want to we don't want to get into it. We want it to sound good. Apartheid, oppression, slavery, same thing. I will just wrap it up to that. But I understand that
Yeah,
we're of
that's
different
true.
age group. So, what I learn and what I, would see coming over the airwaves is not what you'd necessarily see because of your age. But I understand just living in it. Let me just ask you again, as I have you, in terms of the music itself, like the different genres, how is it compared to, where is reggae, where is Afrobeats, where is all the other genres, in comparison to how well they are doing and the artists are doing in terms of being able to do their music with freedom, being able to get on the radio, being able to publish them. How is that, from that point, from that side of the world?
As we were discussing off air, that you said you wanted to come back in the DJing field, so you need to also listen what's on, what's happening, what are people listening to. You see, music has changed even from my time when I started. So everything is becoming a bit upbeat and upbeat. So the original reggae maybe, or the original boom bap hip hop, it's not being given enough, time or space to breathe. Uh, this is the new sound, that has come up. But and here, even here in South Africa, reggae is not being given any time. That's why now we want to stretch our wings and tap into other audiences,
Hmm.
into other countries like Germany and other places, and other countries that still love reggae. Because here, I don't know, maybe they loved reggae when they were fighting for freedom. Now that they have
The freedom.
freedom, I don't know. There's no reason for them to listen to reggae. I don't understand. But reggae is also, a joyful. It's also
Right.
joyful.
So we
It's
have
not, it's not
we
only
have
struggle.
lost the fight song. We have lost the essence of
Yes.
what the music is supposed to be and what it's
So
supposed to
now we
represent.
have
I got you.
become we have become we have become a dance nation. That's what they call us. I was speaking with one old hip hop, one hip hop head from my genre. We went to the same club together by the name of Slingshot, from a group called the Salem Tribe. He said, "My man, we are in a dance country. If your music it does not have a bit of a dance feel, and maybe you're talking too deep topics, the people won't like you." And he said that was our problem during our times, because we spoke too much, of the truth, and our music was too maybe musical than too much dance.
Right. So
Because I tell you,
I get it. I get it. Having been, someone who was raised in the dance hall, the place where we will congregate and we'll see performance after performers, and if you're not good enough, you can't make it. And what we see now is that just about anyone can fling something on a track, and
anyone,
it will
even
go.
some, you
But
see,
I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad. I'm
yeah, you
speaking
can't.
to the producers
Every,
and the managers and all of those who encourages that. I'm not mad at the artists because they will tell you that everyone wants a paper and everyone wants to eat bread. I'm going to take a
that's
break. I'm sorry. I'm going to take a break. I have to take a break right here, and then I'm come back with you, and then we'll put a bow on it because I know you're going to come back another time. This is not enough time for us to have as much conversation as we want to have, and I just want to introduce American Africa and the rest of my listenership to a man that is giving me a source of information and, of course, knowledge coming out of South Africa. We haven't even touched Ghana as yet, so we have to come back. We have to do something. So let me drop this. Afrobeat your way, and then we'll come back and we'll put a little bow on this conversation and plan to return here. Maybe Black History Month next month. I can have you back. We could talk a few things about that. MusicalNationRadio.com, WTFS.db, broadcasting out of Eastern Pennsylvania and Freemansburg and all over. We are a DJ platform. We do it in a format. All of our personalities from Sunday to Sunday are DJs, and we have 24-hour programming, so you could always get something right here on FunkNationRadio.com. For as far as artists, I too find Taj Weeks to be a very eloquent man and a very solid performer. I never knew about Taj Weeks, and it's through your connection and somewhere down the line I get hooked into Taj Weeks, and hopefully I can have him here on the show. Fume, I hope to have her music. Lioness Font, who you also hooked me into, and these guys from Ghana. And as a matter of fact, Star is booked. I'm going to throw this one out there. Star is booked to appear here on the 11th of February, whatever Saturday that is. So we're going to run that promotion, and he's going to be here on the show as well. Right, and then we're going to go through and see.
He said he was going to tune in, so I'm hoping he's listening.
Okay.
On the 11th of February, he's on. Yeah.
Right, we simply ask, and I'm going to ask for this on air. We just simply ask that we're gonna have to do some reciprocal agreement wherein we promote each other and we make sure that you take care of me and I take care of you. This here is hard work, and so we want to make sure that at least we grow the fan base and we spread the music. Let me put a bow on it as it is. I certainly appreciate you coming on. I know that we haven't touched everything that we wanted to touch. I thank you for all the music that you send me. I thank you for all the artists that you have introduced to me, and we're going to go full blown. Again, I'm going to leave this as an open invitation for you. You can hit me up on Monday through Friday and just tell me. It doesn't matter if I have a guest or not. You are always welcome to join my show at any time. So thank you so much for the contribution. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to appear on the show. And I have my eyes on this. I told you about him. I listened to him. He probably doesn't know that I listened to him. Zigwe Zakwa. I have my eyes on him, and hopefully I can get him on the show as well. But I will leave the last word for you.
Sizwe Zakwe.
Sizwe. Okay. You see my African thing. I hang out with you some more, and then I'll be able to pronounce all them African names by next week. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, my man. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So I give you the last word.
Now? What did you?
No, I'm saying I'm giving you the last word. Just just take us out.
Much appreciation to all the listeners of Funk Nation Radio, and thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me have this cultural exchange with you across the world from wherever you are. I really appreciate this, and hope we meet next time. As I've been invited and as it's been said that I'm welcome in the show, I will be riding with the show, and you will be hearing the artists from Africa that I've sent and connected with the Funk Nation Radio. Just keep listening to FunkNationRadio.com. It is what it is. Nice to meet ya.
Thank you so much. That's a public service announcement for the Rudeboy show and for FunkNationRadio.com. And we promise that we are going to keep in touch, and we're going to go through the continent and find the talent there. We're going to bring the music to us. Don't get fooled by just the Afro beats. It's not just Afro beats that are coming out of it, but what you get the stars all the time, but sometimes you still have to dig in there and find those other talent and bring them to you. And that's our job, to make sure we do that. Thank you, Mr. X, for taking the time out. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will definitely get in touch with you after the broadcast or later.